बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम अल्लाहुम्मा रब्बि ज़िदनी इल्मा सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम आमीन अल्हम्दुलिल्लाहि रब्बिल आलमीन. In this lecture, I will discuss the solutions of P3 variant 3.1 of November 2020. And for this, I am using the work of an outstanding and one of my best student, Ms. Bisma Sami of class 2021, the Lyceum. All these instructions are very important, especially this last one. Give non-exact numerical answers correct to 3 significant figures or 1 decimal place for angles in degrees, unless a different level of accuracy is specified in the question. Must follow all these instructions. An important advice for me and for everyone, we must be fair to others. 2 important tips to solve the paper in a good way. Number 1, avoid careless mistakes. Number 2, read questions carefully. Question number 1, solve this inequality. In order to solve this inequality, we need to remove modulus, and for that we need to square on both sides. So by squaring on both sides, we have removed the modulus. And make sure you give this power 2 to both the terms, to this expansion and this term, this coefficient. So when you will expand this and simplify this, and when you will bring everything on left side, you will get this thing. So by breaking the middle term, we have this. Since we have greater signs, so these are 2 required regions. Therefore, these are the solutions of this inequality. Now we have to do the inspection. For inspection, we replace all the inequality signs by equal signs. So when x is 8 upon 7, this equation is not verifying. So this solution is not right. So this will be rejected. So when x is minus 4 upon 3, this equation is verified. Therefore, this is the right solution. Hence, this is the right solution. Question number 2. On a sketch of an Argand diagram, shade the region whose points represent complex number z satisfying the inequalities. This is the equation of circle with center at origin and radius 2. And the required region is outside the circle. This is also the equation of circle with center at 1 minus I. Make sure you write these 2 terms in bracket and minus sign should be here. So this is the equation of circle with center at 1 minus I and radius 1, and the required region is inside the circle. So the first circle is here and this second circle is here. According to this inequality, the required region is inside this small circle here. And according to this inequality, the required region is outside this large circle, meaning this is the required region. You can take the screenshot of the solution if you want. Question number 3. We have parametric equations and we have to prove the gradient cot theta for this domain. So when you will differentiate x with respect to theta, you will get this. The differential of cos is negative sine 2 theta times 2. So this is 2 sine 2 theta because of this negative sign. And you all know how to differentiate this. This is the formula for the gradient of parametric equation. So you just need to simplify these cos and sine 2 theta. You need to replace cos 2 theta by 2 cos square theta minus 1. This is the double angle formula of cos 2 theta, and replace this by 2 sine theta cos theta. When you will simplify both the numerator and denominator, you will get cot theta. So you have to use double angle formula here and here. Since we need our answer in form of cot theta, that is why we replace cos 2 theta by 2 cos square theta minus 1. We need cos theta in numerator here. Next question, number 4. We have to solve this equation. Number one, we have to convert this 1 in the form of log. We can replace 1 by log base 10 function 10 because this is also 1. Now we have to use quotient law here. So by applying the quotient law, we have this. Now, since both we have single log here and here, therefore we can equate their functions. Never cancel these two logs, never. Just equate their functions. When you will equate these two, you will get this quadratic equation. So by using calculator and by using quadratic formula, we have two answers. Give your answer up to 3 decimal places. And both the answers are fine. Question number 5. By sketching a suitable pair of graphs, show that this equation has exactly one root in this interval. So you have to sketch cosec x separately and this exponential separately. For cosec, first sketch sine. If you don't know how to sketch cosec, then first sketch sine from 0 to pi. This is sine x. Cosec is the reflection of sine about this line. But cosec is infinite at these two values. So cosec is parallel here and here. And this is exponential with intercept 2, y intercept. For exponential, intercept is compulsory. See, we have two solutions in this interval shown. Now this is the iterative formula and the initial value is given. We have to find the root and we have to give the result of each iteration up to 4 decimal places. So when x1 is 2, we have x2 this. Now we have to repeat this process unless we get a repeated number. This is the repeated number. Hence the answer is 2.28 up to 2 decimal places. Next question. We have to express this trigonometric equation into this form. See, we have cos here, therefore this is A and this is B. And R, you know, R is A square plus B square. Therefore, R is under root 15. This is the exact value of R. Make sure you must give the exact value of R. And alpha should be up to 2 decimal places. And alpha is B upon, tan inverse B upon A. This is alpha and this is R. And make sure you must substitute the values of R and alpha into this equation. Don't leave your answer here. Must substitute R here and alpha here. This is the express form. Hence solve this equation. This means you need to solve this equation because this entire thing can be expressed in this form. Under root 15 cos angle is x upon 3. This is very important. This angle must be here. Now you have to change this domain according to this angle. You must have 1 upon 3x minus 50.77 here. When you will alter this domain with respect to this angle, you will get this domain. This is the new domain. This means you have to work in clockwise direction and this means you have to work in anti-clockwise direction. And since cos is positive, so you need to work in both the directions. This is the value of alpha. So when you are working in clockwise direction, this will be the answer. When you are working in anti-clockwise direction, this will be the answer. Now you need to work for x. You need to bring this on right hand side and then you need to multiply resultant by 3. These are two answers up to 1 decimal place. This solution is very important. Make sure you take the screenshot of this solution. This part is extremely important, the change of domain part. You must be good at this thing. You must practice at least 5 or 7 questions of this type to be good at this concept. Don't take this question lightly. This is very important. Question number 7a. Verify that this is the root of this equation. This is so simple. You just need to replace x by this thing. Now you have option. You can either write this x cube as x times x square, or you can take x square common from these two. Both the methods are fine. This student used this method. She broke x cube in this way, x times x square. And then she substituted x by minus 1 plus root 5. And then she just simply solved this equation. Expand this by means of a minus b whole square, a minus b whole square. And then when you will simplify everything, you know I square is minus 1, you will get 0. You must be good at algebra. These calculations are very complicated. If you are good at algebra, you can easily manage these calculations. Find the other roots. This is the conjugate. The complex conjugate of this root is this. So we have two roots. We need one more root because the power of the equation is 3. So we must have 3 answers. This is the first answer. This is the second answer. We need the third answer as well. And for that, we must use this answer and this answer to get a quadratic factor. So by using these two roots, this root is here and the previous root is here. By multiplying these two, we have this quadratic factor or quadratic root. Now we have to use long division. When we will use long division with this factor onto this equation, we'll get this linear factor. And this is the third root. So there are 3 answers. This is the answer number 1, answer number 2, and answer number 3. This part is very important, the quadratic factor part. Whenever we have one complex root, then always write the conjugate of that root and then get the quadratic factor and then go for long division. Question number 8. This is so simple. Solve this differential equation for these values of x and y. First, you have to go for separable. Do the separable. Bring this x here, dx here, and y here. This is the variable separable. Now break the LCM. This is the simplified form. Now the integral of this is ln y, and this will become ln x. This will become minus x square plus c. By substituting x1 and y1 into this equation, we have the value of c. By substituting c back into this equation, we have this equation. Now we have to make y subject. For that, we need to bring ln on this side so that we can use quotient law. Now use the index form. The ln has base e, so when you will remove this ln, this e will come here. It's here. Let me write the rule here. Ln y is x. If ln y is x, you know the base of ln is e. So when you will remove ln, you will get y is equal to e power x. This is the rule which we use here. Now this is y in terms of x. Express this in partial fractions. This is the repeated linear factor, so you need to write this factor twice, once with power 1 and once with power 2. Since all the factors are linear, so we must have constants in numerator. Now from this bracket we are getting x1, from this bracket we are getting x minus 2 upon 3. We have to suppose one more value of x for the remaining constant, and we always suppose that value which make the calculation simple. So x0 is the simplest value and it will make the calculation simple. But always substitute this value after the substitution of these values, meaning you need to substitute this value at the end because you suppose this value yourself and you got these two values from these two factors. So always substitute these values first and then this value at the end. Now by substituting 1 into this equation, we have a1. By substituting x minus 2 upon 3, we have got c 6. And by substituting c x0, we have got b1. Make sure you must substitute everything into this equation. I mean, you must substitute ABC over here. This is the required partial fraction. Don't leave your answer here, otherwise you will lose 1 mark. Always substitute the values of the constants into this equation with their signs. This is the required partial fraction. This is the binomial part of partial fraction. Hence, obtain the expansion of f of x in ascending powers of x up to and including the term in x square. You must be very careful while using binomial theorem onto this partial fraction. See, this expansion is perfectly fine because the first term is 1. But here the first term is not 1. You have to take this 2 common to make this first term 1 here as well. So you need to take 2 common from this expansion and from this expansion. So when you will take 2 common from this expansion, you have this. And when you will take 2 common from this, make sure you give power 2 to this expansion and this coefficient as well. This is very important. Now you have to bring everything, I mean all the expansions in numerator, leave the coefficients as it is in denominator. See, 1 minus x minus 1 is here. This is also simply in its simplified form. This one is as well. Now we will use the minus 1 rule, negative power 1 rule onto this expansion and onto this expansion. We will expand this and this with the help of the minus 1 power rules. But here we have to use the theorem because the power is not minus 1. So when power is not minus 1, then we use theorem. When power is minus 1, then we use the rules of negative power 1. The rule is when we have negative sign, then we expand all the terms with positive signs. This coefficient is as it is. Since we have positive sign, then we will expand this expansion with alternate signs. 1 minus 3 upon 2x, then 3 upon 2x power 2, which is 9x square upon 4. Now you need to expand this with the help of the theorem, factorial form. 1 here, this is n, this is b power 1 over 1 factorial, then n minus 1 b power 2 2 factorial. You must be good at binomial. You must watch my lecture of binomial theorem on this channel. Well, this is the answer in its simplified form in ascending powers of x. Ascending means small to large, small to big. Constant, power x, then power 2. Next question, number 10. This is the minimum point. We need the coordinates of m. For that, we need to differentiate this equation. And then we need to equate gradient to 0. This is the UV rule. So, u prime is this, v prime is this. According to UV rule, this is the differential of this equation. This is the differential of this equation. U v prime, v u prime. Now by equating gradient to 0, we have this thing. It's always better to factorize the equation. it's better to factorize the equation rather than cancel the terms. So we have two things, either x4 or either minus half x 0, and you all know this is invalid because when you will take ln, this will be 0, invalid. So x is 4, we took this term common and then we got x4. By substituting x4 into this equation, we can get the value of y coordinate of m. So these are the x and y coordinates of m. Next part, find the area of the shaded region. For that we need to integrate this curve from 0 to this number, and at this number y is 0, so this number should be 2. It's 2. So you need to integrate this curve from 0 to 2, and you need to use by parts. So you can use y parts from this equation or from this equation. You have option. This is student use by parts from this equation. Both methods are fine. By parts should be used over here. So u is x and dv is this thing with dx. It's here. We always differentiate u to get du, and we always integrate dv to get v. This is the by parts formula. U is this, whereas v is this, and this is v and this is du. This is the answer of this part, and you can easily integrate this in this way. Copy this too, and e power minus half x, the integration of e power minus half x will be e power minus half x divided by minus half. When you will replace, when you will get the reciprocal of minus half, this 2 will become minus 4. So finally we have this answer, 4 e power minus 1. That's the area. Next question, number 11. Two lines have equations where a is a constant. Given that the two lines intersect, find the value of a and the point and the position vector of their point of intersection. This is so simple. When lines intersect, then we equate their r's. This is r1 and this is r2. Now we have three equations. We just need to solve these two equations first to get the value of lambda and mu. This is lambda and this is mu. Now by substituting lambda here, mu here, we can get the value of a. Position vector is very simple. Either substitute mu here or lambda and a here. So we substituted lambda and a here. You could also substitute mu here. This is the position vector of their point of intersection. You should give your answer in terms of I, j and k, because the question is also given in I, j, k form. That's the answer. The next part of this question, part B, given instead that the acute angle between the directions of the two lines is this, find the two possible values of A. For that we need to use the scalar product. So we need the direction vectors of both the lines. This is the direction vector of first line and this is the direction vector of second line. This is Q and this is P, let's suppose, or AB. So line 1's direction vector is A, line 2's direction vector is B. It's better to use another letter because A is also used here. Anyway, it's fine. We can replace this A by A dash. So that it would not be mixed with this A. You should use C here maybe. Don't use same letters. A and A. This will confuse you. But since this student is a genius, so she managed this easily. Anyway, this is the dot product of their direction vectors. These are the magnitudes. This is the formula of dot product. And theta is cos inverse 1 upon 6. Cos inverse and cos will be cancelled. So by solving this equation, we can get the values of A. You can take the screenshot of this solution if you want. Well, this is all. An important advice for me and for everyone: be focused. Good luck. And I'm extremely thankful to Miss Bisma Sami, who helped me to make this lecture. Indeed, she is an outstanding student. May Allah Pak bless her always. Ameen. May Allah Pak give her the best grades. Ameen. Allah Hafiz.